The MTG podcast is a virtual space for women and men in the tech and creative industries.
Tune in as we put it all on the table, sharing authentic life truths as we sustain and empower each other in search of our tribe.
We're more than a designer. We're more than our name badge. We're more than the work we produce.
Welcome to the More Than Graphics podcast.
We're that tribe.
What's up, everybody? Welcome again to our episode of the More Than Graphics podcast. I'm Danielle.
I'm Cicely.
And I'm Priscilla.
And together, we make this amazing, strong force for women in tech and women creatives. And I'm really excited about this conversation in and around Invent. If you are live, check in with us right now in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Tell us where you're commenting from. I'm all about interactiveness today. So yeah, tell us anything that really kind of sparks you in conversation today. Whether you are tuning in from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Wow, we're live in all these major places. All right, so without deep diving a little bit, I kind of wanted to catch up with everybody in the room. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of catch up for a second. Priscilla, what's new with you? We'll go counterclockwise.
Shortest to tallest. Always shortest to tallest. I'm not wearing my heels today, so I'll go first. Let's see. I'm getting ready to finish up my book, Danielle and Cicely. I went to the library today and I got some inspiration, so I'm doing, last minute switcheroosies and stuff. But I'm looking forward to that and just doing that and keep going. And that's what I'm focusing on. And a lot of client work trying to finish up, but we had a good Easter yesterday. First time I've had that with my minis in a long time, so it's fun. Lots of stomach aches today.
All right, Cicely, what's up, girl?
I just got to spend some much needed family time yesterday. I got to spend time with my grandparents. They're so cute. I love them so much. And just got to spend time with my mom and some of my uncles and Ryan and Liam. So it was a good time. Glad that I got the family time. It doesn't seem like it happens often enough anymore. So I'm just happy I got to see the people I love.
Man, I feel like that's the mood for everything right now. As we talk about this huge theme of invent, right? Like the art of invention and new things, right? Creating new things, pivoting from one thing to another, also being inventive. So I'm really kind of excited about this conversation as we kind of talk about more about invent, but just to kind of get everybody caught up, I think that was a perfect example of how everyone's kind of adjusting, right? For different, wherever you are in the world, and regardless of what holiday you celebrate, there's a time and a place for rest, right? Mm-hmm. So I just want to kind of acknowledge that in this space, whether you're a creative person or a techie person, or whether you've been working in corporate America or in the entrepreneurship field for a long time, guilty. So I want to make sure everyone understands there's a time and a place for rest. And we hope that you found some rest or getting ready to experience some rest over the next couple of days or weeks. So, I kind of want to dive into Invent. And we do have an amazing guest today just to talk about the cusp of this. But I kind of wanted to deep dive into this topic. And I know, Priscilla, when we first talked about this topic of Invent, even in the trailer, you were just excited, gasping for air almost. So I kind of want to speak to you for a second about why this is so special to you, this theme.
Mute button. Oh, no. I mean, I just think because invent is so, I feel like creativity, you can use synonym as be invent. So that's just why I got so excited, just because of the words are kind of slow this morning. The, what do you call that? Like clockwork, like the gears. And I get excited about gears. I mean, I'm not scientific whatsoever, and I don't know no mechanics, but the gears in the head is my thing. So I got very excited because I was I couldn't wait to hear who we were going to have, what they were going to say, and how that related. No pressure whatsoever. So I'm excited about this topic today.
I like that. So I kind of did a little bit of base research. Thanks, Google. For in and around invention, right? Cicely, did you have anything extra you want to add on to that comment before I jump into these cool stats?
No, I'm with Priscilla on the gears turning, and it's really I like also the word reinvent. So invent is kind of things that you come up with, but reinvent is taking those same things and making them better or kind of adjusting them to where you are now. So I'm in that mode right now, but I love how Priscilla brought up the gears, because the gears are always turning.
Right? I love that. Okay, so real quick, around 42% of the current workforce in the creative industry are women, right? Invent. Let's talk about that for a second, because I feel like a lot of us are listening to this particular podcast. A lot of us are listening to this podcast overall. We speak to a lot of women, right? So knowing that 42% of the current workforce in the creative industry are women speaks directly to our people. We hope that you listen, people. Next on women inventor stats, the share of U.S. inventors receiving patents who are women increased from 12.1% in 2016 to 12.8% in 2019. So we are increasing. It is slowly but surely. Women are doing their thing. We're creating more things. And something that was really kind of cool to me was like seeing kind of these other, where we are, like where America is in the rate of invention. So I did check that out, and I found out that the top countries for top inventors, for the inventors who create the most amount of stuff, Cuba and the Philippines as of 2021. Wow, right? I know, right? So like, yeah. So I think that was really cool. And of course, I wanted to address the youngest female inventor, which is a tie actually, by two 12-year-old girls. One 12-year-old girl back in 1974, Becky Schroeder, was the youngest ever female inventor, and she successfully secured a patent for her glow sheet, which is that luminescent backing sheet that you can like write on, lift up, and it disappears, and you can write again on it, like back from like the 90s that we played with toys and stuff. That's pretty cool. And then the second youngest is more relevant, 2017, 12-year-old Jitanya Lee Rao, whose water lead level measuring device was recently used during the Flint, Michigan water crisis. She graced the cover of Time magazine in Forbes 30 under 30. 12? What? Like, wow. Girls were doing it. Like, on whatever level. Thoughts on any of that kind of cool stuff? I just think it's so neat. We talk about invention, and there's so many people, this generation is younger and younger, finding ways to solve problems. I think it's so inspirational for the rest of us in our 30s and our 40s. Like, if they can figure it out, surely that should inspire me to make that change or that pivot or that reinvent today, right? So that's really kind of where I'm leading up to and having our guest today. Cicely, would you love to do the honors today?
Yes. So Chanel Roker is your pivoting strategist, a certified senior professional in process and quality management with over 15 years of expertise in IT and business processes consulting, including project management and portfolio management. As a transformation specialist, she understands client needs, constructs data plans that maximize resources and bring efficiency and revenue growth. In 2022, Chanel launched the Accelerator Program for freelancers called the Rate Race, and providing pivoting support to 80 plus job seekers in different industries, one-on-one coaching, and increased salaries 20 to 50K within 90 days, completing 20 successful industry pivots. She helps business owners, entrepreneurs, and job seekers pivot by identifying transferable skills and teaching contract project management using colors. Oh, you make money too. This year, 2023, she offers exclusive coaching support to participants committed to doing the work to pivot. You are your first project. Welcome, Chanel.
Thank you. Thank you. What up, though, everybody? Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's amazing.
I'm so happy that you're here. I love it.
Yes. For those that don't know who I am, I actually met Cicely last year, and we met through social media, and I took a chance listening to my kids. I work in technology, but I've been behind the scenes. My kids, they wanted me to come public and actually share what it is that I know and be able to help people, because my delivery is very personable from what I've been told. And I was like, absolutely not. There's no way. People are going to make fun of me, and I don't have no personality. Like, you got to have a whole brand and all of this stuff. And I just took a leap of faith, and it was a work from home opportunity to meet my clients. I create a pipeline of where employment in corporate or free freelancing, I create a way for job boards to get into your box. So I am immediately keeping you in the leadership seat when we work together. And so I've done all of these things myself. I've worked with other people behind the scenes. And so now bringing it public, I was like, what am I going to talk about? And I ended up getting a work from home contract. They came to me, and from the minute that I had the phone call, I was infuriated. I was enraged because the headhunter reached out to me. I saw your resume. This is so great. We think that you're a great fit, but can you go and make these tweaks and changes? And I was like, absolutely not. And I hit record. I'm a believer where there's two or more, there's a disruption. And so this is what I teach in my program and in my process, right? And when that happened, I was immediately disrupted. And I was like, absolutely not. This is what I need to talk about. And so I hit record, and I just did one video that said, listen, stop getting all these damn credentials. We got them all, y'all. What else are we trying to do? And so that video, that little snippet, it actually started to, take interest. And then by New Year's Eve, I did a video where I explained how I actually created the rate race and how I actually jumped from $12.50 to $25 within 90 days, from 25 to 30, from 30 to $20. And that was back in 2016. That was New Year's Eve. When I woke up New Year's Day, I was completely booked out for January. I was in, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? This was not supposed to be expected, all of these things. So my approach is very personable because I took a non-traditional approach to developing my career. And many of us now, quite frankly, are going through that same level of transition that I have been experiencing over the 15, 20 years. And what happens when your pedigree? So for us to now have this conversation about inventing and the power of invention, and my messaging being that we are already dope as hell. We're diamonds. We're solution providers. We absolutely are subject matter experts. We may have a problem that I recognized I had back then. I had a translation issue. I didn't realize that I already had the skills and was already doing the work. I was just stuck on the titles. And the fact that I didn't get the title, I was discounting all of this experience that I have under my umbrella. And this is why the hell I'm mad, not realizing that is the golden handcuff. So my journey over the last year, now going into year 2, has been very, very transformational because I didn't realize the level and the ways that I make an impact. So when I came public doing my videos, I met a few people. Cicely was one of those. And we ended up working together. She came through my needs assessment. And once again, I uncovered another diamond like we are. And she, being a jack of all trades, she understood my language. She understood my style and my approach and my delivery. And that was very, very transformational for me because I was reinventing myself. I was very uncomfortable calling myself a pivoting strategist. Nobody else was doing this. Nobody was talking about pivoting, right? Let alone having the ability to explain how you already are doing all of this dope stuff. You just need a better line of sight, right? And so with Cicely coming into my needs assessment and me talking to her about her dope abilities and things she's been doing in the background, I was like, what you mean you got a podcast? Because she didn't tell me she had a podcast. She didn't tell me about none of this stuff. I ended up stumbling upon this on TikTok. It was like maybe 3 a.m. and I'm laying it. Oh, I know she did not. You mean to tell me this is something else we do that's dope as hell that's on the side and you keeping it as a secret? Not on my watch. Right. And so I sent the reply, and I think it was another video where she was speaking Spanish. Never said she was bilingual. Never said any of these things. I'm like, who is this person that was in front of me in this needs assessment? Right. Many of us do this. Many of us have a lot of experience and we are specialized in a lot of things. And we discount all of this stuff because of what corporate has not said is okay. And so with me talking to her about her roadmap and that, she has a lot of abilities. The problem now is, what will you commit to? That's where I am now this year in offering exclusive services, is helping entrepreneurs, business owners, job seekers understand what will you commit to, because it's not about the money. It's not about the money grab. And so being able to kick off this conversation, which fits so well with my approach, I just think that it's divine.
Karen, you invented all the things. I love this. I absolutely love this. Wow. I mean, I am very impressed by this particular what is it called? The Accelerator Program. Yeah. I am extremely very, very interested in that because I'm just understanding teaching people how to pivot is not always a very easy thing to do. And the fact that you're using your own life examples, your own intuition, your own gifts. Again, I love the statement of, I had to figure out the whole corporate title thing. You already had the bag. You already had the stuff. You already have the gifts, all the things. It was just a matter of corporate recognizing it as a certain quote unquote title. And then the appreciation value goes up or down, whatever. And I absolutely love that you continue to encourage other people to see that in themselves. That's huge. For women in tech, that is huge because we are always valued by the output of the work that we do. It is never about how we quote unquote feel, the curiosity element of our job, anything along those lines. That's all something in a shelf in a box over there. We are quote unquote looked at to produce. We are based upon those numbers. And so I love the fact that you address that yes, numbers are there, but that's more than what we are, right? That's more than what we do. Absolutely. So yeah, kudos to you. That is on fire. Yeah.
Oh gosh, this really spoke to me a lot too, because I was thinking back about in 2018 when I became a divorced single mother of two, and I was co-working. I was remote working because I used to live in Lexington and I moved to Columbus, Ohio. And then I remember I was looking for other employment, and because I didn't have a certain title on my resume, I'm like, I got overlooked, and I was like, damn, I said, I know I am so fly at what I do, and no one else can touch it and stuff. And then the pandemic happened. And so it was like the perfect opportunity for me to be like, well, shit, I guess I got to go make my own job. Right. And I know now that's the reason why all that happened, was because that job out there was not for me. My skill set is just kind of whatever. I'm not meant to be corporate. I don't want to have to go corporate again. And, but the pivoting and the building, and I love that you were talking about the disruption.
Absolutely.
And that fits so well with another topic we just talked about the other week about growth. I mean, I love that this is right after Danielle. I know you totally planned this, right? Conversation. And it's a wonderful transition. And I really appreciate you talking about that, just because I feel as if that is a big thing, especially with not just people that are entering workforces, people that are like us. I say us, me, the older ones that are, it's almost like I feel like if I were to go out into corporate, right, could I keep up with the little ones that can, that they're more in the stuff. I know that my knowledge of some things, I do not keep up with it. That's why I'm friends with the people that I am friends with, Danielle, who can give me the Cliff's edition of, hey, this is what the young people mean by this.
Right.
But to be able to have this type of, service for people is amazing. And I'm so glad that you're on here talking about this.
Yeah, it has really shown me the power of being obedient, because this journey has not been easy. I teach in colors because there's so many words and there's so much misinformation. You don't forget no damn colors, right? And so the colors are very, very transformational because I get you to see you using colors. Green is very, very powerful. Green is about launching. I teach you project management hands-on because you become your first project. You are always your first project. This is how you understand and come to learn the ways of managing a project. I'm self-taught in technology. I didn't get any of my credentials until maybe 6-7 years into my career journey, right? And what I stumbled upon was my sweet spot was the fact that I have a stronger pedigree than the paperwork. So I had a lot of life experiences to learn and know how to do workarounds. And because I'm self-taught, I'm easily flexible. I'm adaptable. I learn and gravitate to information very, very fast. This is the benefit for those of us that are jack of all trades. So I'm already living proof pivoting works, and so are you. So when we meet, that's the disruption. Like, are you kidding me? What do you mean? I'm a subject matter expert. I did not know the things that I naturally came to understand. I didn't know that this was like a secret in our community. Nobody knew this shit, right? And so in my assessment, one of the things that I do to disrupt you or to see where the disruption needs to happen is, do you know that if you have 3 to 5 years of experience, you are an expert? Do you know that if you have 10 years of experience, you are a subject matter expert? So that question alone immediately puts you in what I categorize as, oh shit. Remember, we're believers. I'm different. I'm a different type of believer. So when we meet 2 or more is a disruption. After the disruption is oh shit. After oh shit is the shit storm. You mean, I know doggone well my Zoom was working. I know doggone well I done told you I had this meeting. Why are you calling me right now? All of these things to try to get you out of being focused. That is the shit storm. So the reason why I categorize things and I teach in visual cues is because 8 out of 10 of us are visual learners. We didn't know this. And so based off of me being able to teach visually in this way, you now can understand, well, damn, I'm not depressed. I'm just going through a shitstorm right now. You mean it will end? You mean I don't need medication, right? And so that was the feedback that I got from people that I supported last year. They were like, Chanel, this is powerful. This is not about a damn resume. This is about you actually getting us to see ourselves. And the feedback, which I was like, I got to shut this down. These people don't think this is fraud. Absolutely not. But people were saying like, listen, I can sleep. I don't have anxiety anymore. Like I can trust my gut again. It's not the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. It's the fact that I'm giving my A game out. I may be used to pouring out and uplifting others, but not really recognizing I'm the only one that does that shit. And I'm burnt out from being the leader of that assignment. It's no longer meant for me, right? And so in the accelerator, so it's accelerated learning, and you learn project management, you learn contract management, but you really get to understand yourself. And what's transformational is the ways that we understand magnetizes us. But we do realize everybody and their mama keep coming to us for information, but we know the answers. How we know the answers, but don't consider ourselves an expert. And that's the disruption, right? That's the aha. That's the oh shit.
I love
and
that.
So I get you to see yourself. I get you to see yourself using framework design. That's what's behind me. This is not a vision board. I am teaching you the step after the actual vision board. That is called framework design, which has been a part of project management this entire time. We had no idea. That's why so many people can talk about the big picture of what they want to do, but they don't know how to get it. So what I do is I've created a very creative way to get you out of your head using colors. And it has become very transformational because when we work together, this is a secret. You can't tell nobody in your inner circle. Now, because I have gone through this program myself, I install mental health tools and techniques. So the colors mean things, right? I have grounding tools as well. Cicely knows what I'm talking about. It is very, very challenging for people to celebrate themselves. Exactly. We're like, wait a minute, what do you mean? I don't have time for none of that, right? And so that's one of the main exercises in my program is getting you to see how dope you are, because this is why everybody is coming to you. When you say you now want to make more money, this is what I get you to tell me doing what? I'm a pivoting strategist. So you have to steer me every step of the way. I keep you in the leadership seat. So it becomes very, very disruptive to see, Chanel, I've been doing 30 things and I was just talking like I only know 4. In the old world, walls don't move. In the new world, walls do move, because this is the Kanban methodology, which is part of Agile. You're learning it as you're doing it, right? And so my March program, it literally just ended on Saturday. I'm getting ready to start the April one today. And in March, one of my clients, she was completely shut down because she didn't know how green she was. You mean this is what works well? And Cicely could speak to, listen, Chanel, this whole green thing, I'm not used to this. And it was just so funny talking to Cicely about how dope she was, because every time she would say, I can't, she would then follow up with something that she already completed that was done. So what I see that I do now is I am able to take you from am I to I am.
That is so dope. I'm so excited that you're here. Okay, so,
Is it possible? I'm wondering, is it possible for Google Sheets to tap out? I mean, Cicely and I are over here typing in all this stuff. I'm like, we're just going to take this to Otter.
Right? We'll work out Otter together. I had a question because I think this is so. I love the framework. I love the thought and intentionality behind each step in the process. I love that it's color coded. That's like, woo, speaking all my love language. But I also kind of want to know, like, what part of these frameworks and processes challenged you the most, like in your process, and how are you able to apply that to into building this out?
So for one, I had to accept that I was a solution provider. Many of us, for whatever reason, we don't see ourselves as a solution provider, but we see others as being the solution provider. Why am I not able to see myself that way? Right. And so it really took me doing a self-analysis and a hard look at my results, which is why celebrating you is part of my program. Self-care is required. So I've had people say, Chanel, I can do everything but this self-care, which has been very, very informational to me because I didn't know that was a problem, right? And so in me uncovering what I have completed that I overcame, it helped me see that I do know how to manage projects. A project just has time, it has money, it has resources, it has a beginning and an end date. I've done those things. When I was pursuing my project management professional, my PMP credential, and I did not get it because of other reasons. I wasn't able to pass the exam, right? But the first time that I went and sat for the exam, I did all of this studying and I'm sitting next to somebody that was a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, how the hell do you qualify to be here? And she was like, a project has a beginning and an end date. So I redid our kitchen. That qualified me for this damn PMP. And she was able to get it. I was furious because I was already doing project management. What the hell you mean I can't get this credential? And so that put me on a different discovery of who am I without the paperwork? If you won't give me the paperwork, I'm going to take it. It's a different perspective. And so going through so much adversity developed the thick skin that I have. And so really it was just, you know what, a lot of us that are self-taught, a lot of us that have had to learn and figure things out, we don't know what the rules are. So we really are the smartest ones because we know the workarounds. Well, I started to see my workarounds were working well to the point where I couldn't get any full-time work. It was only contracts. I can only get contract work. And I started to see that, wait a minute, you people are letting me go because I'm doing my job. People don't know that you can get fired for doing your job, right? And so I started to talk about all of these things. What happens when you do make the six figures and you start to realize it's a whole damn lie over here? Because a lot of people are focused on six figures, not even realizing you ain't taking that home, baby. So it's a lot of mental health challenges that happen with that, right? And so because of me experiencing all of these things, I was at a position now after the pandemic where it was just like, listen, how about we stop asking for permission and take it?
Yeah. I love that.
So my kids having more belief in me than I did in myself, that was the indicator that I had to do this. I'm terrified. That means I have to do it. And so I was like, Jesus, I don't know if I can do this in front of the camera. And so I started to talk to myself, Chanel, treat it and act as if you're talking to your kids. Treat it and act as if you're informing them and educating them about the things that you know to look out for because you are a subject matter expert. Just start. You'll figure the next steps out, but start baby steps, right? Baby steps count. In the program, every step counts. So I started to apply my own medicine and me doing my little videos. So I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, this is just, 15 seconds. This ain't gonna mean nothing. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh Lord, okay, shut this down. This is growing too big. This ain't gonna work. This not gonna work. And I was doing this in front of people, and they were able to see my transparency, my authenticity. Nobody says the imposter syndrome never goes away in our community. That is the truth. It never goes away. And so as I started to be more vulnerable, be more flexible, I ended up finding my voice. And now I have learned to stand in that voice. And now I'm seeing that this voice is a lot bigger than even I have realized. And now I'm over here like, okay, all right, y'all think I can do this? Okay, all right, we just gonna go with it, Jesus. And people are like, Chanel, do you see what you did last year? This is what I mean by the imposter syndrome never goes away. It never goes away. So that was my approach, was basically by trial and error. And at the end of the day, I have to prove to me that I can create the job security that I want. It will not happen outside of me.
That is so incredibly powerful. Go, girl. Oh my gosh.
Can I just say, I feel like I have gone to church, and I never say that. I never say that, but I feel like I'm like church Chanel every Monday, every
Right.
Monday.
Right. So it's funny that you said that, Priscilla, because January and February of this year, I challenged myself by stepping further outside of my comfort zone, and I started to do lives on TikTok. And I stumbled onto it, right? I was doing lives last year, just playing around, not knowing the front-facing side of technology, right? I only know the back end. So I'm not knowing when I go live, it's notifying everybody that's in my network. So I'm thinking I'm just peekabooing on here, and people are like, hey, what the hell you doing on here? You doing a live, all of this stuff, right? And so this year I said, okay, well, let me test the waters. This was on the 3rd of January. And I did the live, and some of my former clients, they got notified. They come onto the live, and they're like, yo, you on here? We've been looking for you. And I ended up finding out I was being shadow banned, all of these things. So now I have to apply a different approach, a different strategy in order for me to be seen by my target audience. So I'm over here like, Lord, you got a funny sense of humor. So now I'm supposed to go live. And one of my pivoters, she's been supportive of me from the very beginning last year, and she hops on the live and she's like, yeah, Chanel, so you gonna do this? We're gonna see you again on Thursday? And I said, well, the only way I'll be here on Thursday is you coming with me. And then everybody on the live was like, oh, okay, so y'all gonna be back on here on Thursday at what time? And she started to answer, it's gonna be 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I'm like, I never even told you this. Stop speaking for me, right? And so now Thursday comes, I do the live, and I end up doing the live every day from January to the end of February. And my live turned into like a radio show. People were asking, like, when are you doing the podcast? Like, this is incredible, because I was galvanizing all of us by industries. So I started to do industry pivots. All right, listen, today we're going to focus on healthcare. Tomorrow it's going to be about education. I'm going to show each of y'all how dope you are across these industries. You don't know who you are, right? And I stopped that at March 1st. I stopped doing my lives every day, and now I do my lives on Fridays. And people are like, listen, I don't know what I did, but whatever you need, we got to bring this back. We can't wait till no Friday. This ain't working out, right? And I'm over here shocked. It's April now, and I'm like, well, I feel some kind of way too. I just did a live on Friday, and I had explosive interest again. And so things are changing, things are transforming. A lot of pressure has been put on me because of the pot I'm bringing, in the fact that it's an old world and a new world. We're in a new world now. We're not asking for permission.
Oh, well,
we're defining
Chanel,
what we accept and standing those down.
This excites me because I don't know. I mean, you and I don't know each other, right? And so Danielle, I see Danielle laughing over there, because I actually started something called Everyday Celebrations, and I started it August 1st, 2020. And I'm coming up on my consecutive day 1,000. I was going live on social media for, it was almost 2 years straight. every day. So when you're talking about going live and stuff, that totally speaks to me. I mean, and it was wonderful because, you know, like when you talked about your voice being louder, it was like one of my hugest imposter, was it, what was it? My,
Imposter
what do you call
syndrome.
it?
Yeah.
Not the imposter syndrome. My limiting beliefs was that my
Yep.
voice didn't matter.
Yep.
And so what I was doing is every single day going live, I was challenging myself, and I was like,
Yep.
it does matter. And I was doing it, and it's like, you know, you start doing that type of thing. You're doing it for yourself, not knowing that so many people would reach out to me, kind of like what they did to you. And I said,
Yes.
thank you, because at the time there was all this negative stuff on the social media, and that's why I started it, because I was like,
Yep.
I want to have lighter stuff in my feed, and I want my friends to have other things. And if anybody else joins along, then great. And then it turned into something different, you know, it turned into something more. And so hearing you do that, I mean, I've told Danielle, I said, I wish I want to be able to bring it back. There's a part of me that kind of wants to bring it back, but I'm just in a different place. But listening to you today and talking to you today, I'm like, you know what? I might be able to do something like that and come back. I'm going to come back, and Chanel and I, I'm reaching out. We're going to be doing some sort of collaborating thing. But yeah, that would be so awesome. But I love that you are. And now, where are you going? Where are you going live every day?
So
Or
it's
not
been
every day, on Friday.
It's been on TikTok, but now I'm and even clients from last year, they were like, Chanel, you supposed to be on YouTube. Why the hell are you not on YouTube? And I'm over here like, what I'm gonna say? I don't know what. And they're like, you can't be seriously saying this, Chanel. So I am starting the YouTube this year, right? And they're like, finally, ha! And so all of these new challenges are now in front of me, and I'm choosing to move out of my way because I am finally aligned. Yeah. And there is no question about me being aligned and being centered. I now have to practice what I preach, right? What happens when opportunities that may come to you, the reason why you're getting closed doors is because they're not for you anymore. You have aged out.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been a beautiful way that this is starting to unfold. And so when I stumbled upon, and I said, there are no coincidences as a believer. I was supposed to see Cicely's secret video of her talking in Spanish. I was supposed to see that she had a podcast, all of these things, right? And so when I reached out to you guys, maybe back in February, I reached out, and then I was like, Chanel, what are you going to talk about? You can't. So let's go ahead and self-sabotage. Let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and burn all of this down, right? And no, what's supposed to happen will happen. You will figure it out, even if it's in the 5th hour. Every step counts, even if it's a baby step.
I love that. It is so inspirational. I love, for a lot of women, we feel stuck in some areas, especially when it comes in areas of tech and figuring out how to level up. Maybe finding a new pivot in a new job or a new profession, taking those skill sets that we just heard were like magical and and empowering. We already have these amazing things, taking those and uprooting them and planting them in new soil. Like all those type of feelings are kind of, swirling in around this area. I'm just curious, like for women out there, and feel free to put this in the comments, is there an area for you that you feel like you are clearly mastering, but no one is recognizing, right? What you already are currently doing. So I really kind of want to leave that out there. If you're one of those women that are watching this today, leave that in the comments, because I really want to pick up on that, because we do feel those feelings a lot when it comes to working in corporate America, and even in the tight spaces of entrepreneurship as you move up. So for me, definitely understanding more on contract bidding, understanding more on those cycles and those levels as an entrepreneur for well over a decade. That's something that I pick up on. I realize I may be sitting at a table that may feel inferior, but I'm walking in with the most concrete, sound, noblest, heaviest, the largest amount of room. And I'm bringing all to the table. No one else really knows that yet, and that's okay. But I think that having that, as you mentioned before, having that self-awareness, having that confidence, the stability within self, and really that comfort within yourself to know that you can still walk into those spaces and own it, is so incredibly empowering, and just really, really, really inspired by everything that you're saying today. So I do have a question. It's kind of random, but I think it's really important because all of us as women, period, need to feed off each other. What do you do for self-care?
Ooh, what do I do for self-care? So I really have to force myself to get out of the house because I can work remote, right? I work from the computer. I'm always on the computer. This chat GPT thing and all of these AI tools, listen, I'm over here like an addict. You understand? I'm a use out here. So I have to force myself to physically hands off the keyboard. I need you to walk outside, right? Or I just spend more time. Like it's about spending quality time with my kids. My kids are now, they're teenagers. So I have to grow up at the fact that they don't want me around like that no more. So now I really have to go and really look at, well, damn, what does self-care look like to me now, right? Because it is evolving, it's changing. I like to do outdoors. So I'm pursuing camping more, right? It's a matter of aligning myself with think tank groups, right? So being around more people that are inspirational towards what it is that I want to do. That's a way for me to offer self-care, right? I have had to accept, no matter where you go, Chanel, you are a subject matter expert. So the minute that somebody says something to you, you see ones and zeros. It's not going to go away. So don't look at it like it's a punishment. This is not a punishment. This is an ability. This is a good thing, right? You have to be able to learn how to work with it, right? And so even the way that I pour out into other people, that gives me another layer of self-care that I call sugar cubes, because we may not be financially able to make these overarching experiences. We may need something in a bite-sized approach, right? So if I'm pouring into somebody that I know genuinely, they don't have the resources, they just need the access, they just need the information, they have the commitment level, that's a sugar cube for me. I don't feel like my time is being wasted. I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of. So self-care comes in a lot of different forms, but for the free, I look for any and all things that I can do for the free. Anything outdoors, that's you speaking my language, right? And for me to be my kids, they crack jokes about me camping. They call it glamping. They were like, "Mommy, you're the only person that I know that had us in a tent with indoor carpet and we had air mattresses." I said, "Mind your business. Listen, it was cold out here."
I love it. Glamping is my thing. So I'm for this life. Bring me all the battery operated things. We will hook it up to the car. Like I'm for it.
Look, I said I have worked too hard to be laying on no ground. I deserve the air mattress. The air mattress is coming with me, damn it. You understand? And they to this day, they won't let me live it down. When anything comes on TV, camper related, they give me this look. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm bringing the damn indoor carpet next time too. It's bugs out here. I can't be out here with these clean feet on this dirty ground.
Hey, Chanel, I wanted to ask you, like, what were you like growing up? I mean, like when you were younger, were you always like this, or were you a little bit, as I've gotten older, I've let go, I'm kind of a little looser than I was probably
Absolutely.
as a child. Like, fear is,
I think I've always been outgoing, but I also had like a level of reserve. Right. And I also was very, very insecure because my story is a bit different. Now I'm gonna have to talk about this public, but my grandfather was the first international vice president of UAW Ford. Nobody that I went to school with knew any of these things, right? Not even my family knew the degree of what he did professionally until he passed away in 2016. We knew that he did impactful work, but I didn't know why I was such an entrepreneur. My dad, he's an entrepreneur as well. He has had several businesses. So this has been in my DNA, right? And so I've always been around entrepreneurship and I've always been connected to business. When I was 5, I knew how to balance a checkbook. My grandfather had me actually like picking out flooring materials for the house and I was 5, right? And I remember him buying the material that I selected for the flooring. And I was like, oh my God, you really did it. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. You picked it out. You're the manager. And so that's always been my background. I've always been the responsible one, right? Even when I don't want to be responsible, I can't be that level of a loser, right? Like I try to quit and give up and be like, I'm gonna do nothing with my life. I can't. That only lasts like 48 hours, maybe 72. So I've always been outgoing. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. For me, it was just that people had a perception of who I was and how I was based off of what they knew about my family, but I didn't grow up with those type of connections. So I had to deal with the truth about being different. I went to a high school that was all girls. It was all prep, where I went to school with congressmen kids, and I dealt with a lot of racism, dealing with that, right? And then having to transition from, because I grew up in the 90s, right? So being smart was not cool. We had to actually downplay being the smart one, right? And so I lived what people are familiar with from Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I had that experience, right? So I had the rich experience, but I also had what would be deemed the poor experience. Even though I lived in a very good community and a very good neighborhood in Detroit that was middle class, I remember getting talked about because I wore uniforms, because I spoke proper, because I had to walk to the bus, because I went to a completely different school out of the district, all of these things. And so insecurities did develop during that time, but because of my life experiences, I've always been a risk taker. I took a year off of school from college, right? I transitioned after high school. I went to junior college. I transferred down to Georgia to go to school at Clark. I wanted to be a cardiovascular surgeon. That don't equal Clark. Okay, so I started to see, you know what? Maybe I don't want to deal with death every day. Maybe I'm just used to telling people what they want to hear. So I had to challenge myself by being honest with my mom and my dad and advocating and saying, listen, I know I've been telling you guys this, but I really don't want to do that. I really want to take a year off, and I really want to study and figure out what I want to do. I promise I'm going to come back. I promise I'm going to finish out school. And that's what I did. I took a year off and I just read a whole bunch of books, and people that I worked with, they never knew that I was not in school. They thought I was. And I remember a coworker at the time asking me, why are you reading those books? And I was like, why not? And they said, well, nobody told you to read them. Why are you doing it? I said, why can't I? And that actually like fueled me to want to learn even more and read even more. And so that year that I took off, I learned about self-improvement. I learned about economics. I learned about all of these different industries. And then I really got clear on what do I want to do? Because this is my life. And because I've always been around business, I just settled on business management. And that's what I ended up getting my degree in, and it ended up working. But I've had a lot of roadblocks along the way. And to be a single mother of 4 children, life after divorce is beautiful. So I'm a walking testimony to loving again is possible. You can find connection, life after divorce. I was talking to myself like I was crazy. I was being so orange, which is another color in the program, right? And that also has helped me find my voice. And then the fact that I'm over 40, something about being in your 40s, we just not asking for no permission no more. You listen, I don't want to be in your room if you don't want me. You see what I'm saying?
Oh man, Priscilla, I'm not there yet.
Taking off my glasses, I still see what you're saying.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I think all of those elements have created the gumbo that you now are seeing in front of you. And even with what you see, I still speak to the imposter syndrome never going away for us, because we have not been allowed to be in our feelings of what we have overcame, let alone celebrate our accomplishments. So the safe space that I create, that is what is very, very disruptive to everybody that comes in, because it's an authentic, safe space. I require an NDA. We're not messing around from the very beginning. You have to be committed to this thing. You hear me? And being able to really talk through silent struggles without judgment, without criticism, because it's a safe space of where we get a chance to share what we have overcame in order to help the next. Again, I created this as if I'm talking to my kids, because the educational system has dropped the ball. Totality, right? even every industry has dropped the ball. And so there's a lot of us that have subject matter expertise of what not to do or what to do. We now have to come out of the shadows. And so that's what this Pivoting Accelerator is a safe space for those of us that have the dope ass pedigree to actually come forward and optimize our abilities and be able to earn, because we can.
Ooh, I love this. Okay, so now I got to ask, how can people become a part of this? Like, you gave us all the buttons, you gave us all the keys.
Yeah.
So where do we go to get more?
So now you can go to my Stan store. It's stan.store/pivot-and-works. And that is the actual store for you to set up the discovery call. If you know for a fact that you absolutely want to come into the program, I have an option for you to actually select to participate in the program, and then we'll start the onboarding process then. If you are interested in the private room, which once you come into the Pivoting Accelerator, you have lifetime access. We meet 2 times a month, right? And so now we get a chance to talk to other people in industries that we may be in, that may be doing what we want, but we didn't know that we can do that too. Now there's that safe space in the private room. The private room is what I did for 30 days in February. I did that for free because I just wanted to introduce it as a concept to see, would it be attractive? And I was able to get participants, and they were letting me know, like, Chanel, this should feel like a secret. Like I don't know if I can be anywhere else. I mean, we need the TV show, we need the radio station, we need everything. And so it's just been a beautiful experience. And now that I'm offering exclusive services, the private room is now included in the accelerator. And I think it adds a lot more value because the participants now, everybody has skin in the game. Everybody has gone through the program, right? So now we can speak this new language that I've been teaching about, and you really get a chance to make the impact that you want. I have people from all different ages, right? It is very transformational for people that may be more seasoned, because that's what I say. We not elders. We not, listen, people might consider me an elder. No, thank you. I am seasoned. And because I am seasoned, I have a lot of flavor to give you, darling. Okay, this is not just salt and pepper on this side, right? And many of us that are very from see, you mean I still am relevant? Because many don't believe that we are, because of what the old world is. It's a totally new world. It's a totally new world. So I really but I like working with older clients because I get a chance to show them just how well they are a diamond. And that's where they want to fall out. Like, I can't take no more, Chanel. I can't. Like, I didn't know that 10 years already made me a subject matter expert. So even in my job searches, you mean I have to change all of that? Yes, because that's not who you are. That's not who you are. And so many of us are encountering that same problem. We're searching based off of the old profile from the old world. We are completely new and different. Especially you, Priscilla. You did an actual live stream since 2020. That's 2-3 years in. Now you have the ability
that was so like how many years ago for me?
it still counts, because now you can give insight into other people that want to stand and create their own, right? So what happens when you're a producer?
See, look at Danielle. I'm you.
What happens when you're the producer, Priscilla? You may not even realize the way that you are, right? Because you might look at it from a particular lens that is from the old world. A lot of people that I work with, they don't see themselves as creators. We all are creators. They look at themselves like, well, no, I'm not an artist or a creator because I don't paint. And I'm saying, who told you that was the definition of a creator? You might need to change what you're thinking and believing in. Again, this is full of faith over here, not full of fear.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. All of this.
We had 2 churches today.
Man, I'm telling you,
so the power of inventing or invention, you guys are spot on with this messaging, because the way that the workforce is now, we are moving very, very lean. This is the exact messaging that I am teaching. Many industries are falling and failing on purpose, or many providers in these industries are falling and failing on purpose because They were bloated from the very beginning. We just didn't know that.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Women, y'all best be snapping, sewing your shoes, something. Because
Yes.
all of this is like gold. It's magic. It
Yeah.
is absolutely contagiously positively for you.
I have a situation. I have a situation that happened. I'm going to share with you guys, and I think you will really appreciate it. I remember working for a hotel group, and I was the project manager that was brought in to help them. And I needed to have access to the server because this was hospitality, and they were working with some software companies to help their clients that are in the retail hospitality space. So if you have like Which, if you think of the Pretzel Place, if you think of all of these different retailers that are in the restaurant business, this was the client or the type of clients that I supported. And this one particular day, I have to go into the server room because I now have to configure things for us to start doing testing on our project. And I go in and I go to my server and I see it's a group of guys and they're over here to the left. And I walk into the server room, not really paying attention. And I'm ear hustling. And I hear them, they're flustered, they're frustrated. And they're like, what the hell? We've been over here trying to figure this out. And so I just lean over and I look and I say, you need a hard reset. Has anybody done that? And they turn around and they look and they're like, they look at me like, who the hell are you? No, ma'am. We've been dealing with this for 3 hours. We know for a fact it's not that. Okay. So I go, I'm okay. All right. Listen, I don't know anything, right? Who am I? So I go to my server. I go and I do what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And I hear one of the guys say, let's do the hard reset. So they do the hard reset. The hard reset worked. The guy who said, let's do the hard reset, he looked like us. He was black and brown, right? And so he comes over and he says, you. And I look up and I say, I have a damn name. I don't know who the hell you think you talking to. He's like, he's like, wait a minute. You don't know who I am. I said, I'm not impressed by titles. But what you are going to do, you're going to call me by my name. My name is Chanel. How are you? Right. And so he's like, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask you, how did you know that was the problem? I was like, that's troubleshooting 101. And he said, so how long have you been with the company? I said, 3 days. He said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And I said, yeah, I've only been here for 3 days. He said, how the hell do you know our system like that? And I said, well, once you know one system, you know them all. Again, I'm self-taught. I'm self-taught. So every employer that you have worked with, you absolutely have developed skills that can work with the new one that you work with, right? So that's what happened to me. My previous contract, I was working on their server, self-taught, did debugging, figured out what the problems were with that environment. So when I came to this new environment, I'm already wired, pre-wired. I just need to understand how you have your controls configured and all of this stuff, but it's still the same car. It could be Chevrolet. It could be Lexus. It could be all of these different brands. I still know how to build the car, is my point. And so with me doing it, my senior leaders would know the vendor. They would never let me around the vendor me to come to his company.
Oh my goodness. I love this. Like, I just feel like every ounce of this conversation has been so empowering, especially for us as women, because we know that story all too well. We've seen that played out more than one time, in more than one occasion, where it's like all the bros in the white t-shirts get together, and this is the conclusion that we came up with. And all it takes is one woman in a lot of ways to walk in with one simple idea or one simple conclusion or one simple thought, and we flip tables. That's what we do. It's in our DNA. That's what we do. So I just feel like it's so that is picturesque right there. How it takes a woman. It takes a woman to do the job, right? It takes a woman.
Yeah, and it was the level of arrogance. It was the level of arrogance, like, oh no, we've already. Please go sit down somewhere with that remedial suggestion. And then I was like, oh, you rang, darling. Did you need something? and my client that hired me, they refused. When I tell you, whenever I was with this vendor, They always had to have an intermediary because they were so concerned about me being poached. And that showed me my value.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. My gosh, I love this. This whole combo has been so magical. I think we are at a point where we want to go straight into our flash questionnaire to wrap up the episode. Chanel, we know exactly where to find you, where to go on your website. We're going to have a lot of this in our show notes. If you're not already looking at our show notes, check that out. But yeah, I think we can go straight into that. Are you ready?
I don't really want to. I don't really want to. I'd love to continue the conversation, but whatever. We must. Let's do it. Let's do it. Fine.
Okay, so the flash questionnaire is literally we give you a question, you randomly say whatever comes out of your mouth, which is going to be very entertaining. I can tell already for this episode. So,
let me drink some water right now. I got to get ready.
Okay. All right, here we go. Something new you've learned in the past year, whether it be a life lesson, a hobby, or a fun fact.
When you encounter friction, that's because you're supposed to be looking up.
Oh my gosh, that is like so profound. Holy cow! Down. I love that.
You're
Okay,
supposed to be looking up. It's too low.
Wow. Okay, up around like taking a moment, like holy cow.
That's the old shit that you just experienced. That's old shit.
Hey, that was deep. Okay, yeah. Favorite vacation / getaway spot.
Ooh. Okay, I really want to go to Johannesburg, Africa.
Okay.
That's been on my bucket list since I was 17. So that's absolutely happening. Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Just don't forget us, because we could be side friends. We could fly together.
Absolutely not, darling.
All right, sweet snacks or savory snacks?
I think savory. I don't eat a lot of sweets. Like my sweets are Kit Kats and M&Ms, but savory, ooh, dangerous.
All right, Harry Potter or Star Wars?
Ooh. That's cussing language. That's cussing level. You can't put those two together.
This is actually one of the counting questions.
Star Wars or Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm. You can say both. I mean, you can both, so we get it.
I'm gonna stick to what it is. I'm gonna say Star Wars.
All right. For the Falcon. All right. Digital books or physical books?
I didn't hear you. What was the last one?
Digital books or physical books?
Ooh, physical books.
Yeah, I think that's like 99% of all of
our touch is so important. Physical touch is so important. Do you guys recognize how much of physical touch they are removing in the old world? Yeah. Physical touch is so powerful. That's what we grew up with. That's why we have sanity.
Well, yeah, it helps with our memory, everything. Like it's all connected. Absolutely. Okay, if you could go back in time, where would you go and whom would you see?
Ooh, okay. So I like the 1930s, 40s theme. I like the way that they dressed, right? So we were very captivating, darling. I mean, this is not that, honey. So I would want to go back to that time frame. Like, listen, I'm sorry, you just can't walk up to me. Okay, well, there's a whole delivery that's required, right?
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that era is what I would want to be in, and I would really want to talk to Lena Horne, Ella Fitzgerald, and them, like the jazz era. Oh my gosh, I just wish I could be a fly on the wall.
Harlem Renaissance, yes,
the Harlem Renaissance. That's me all day.
Love it. Okay, what is your love language? Like words of affirmation or physical touch?
Oh, I already know this one. It's physical touch. Wait, physical touch with a side of acts of service. Let
me. I love that. Okay, and the last question is the best part of being a grown-up.
The best part of being a grown-up?
Yes.
I mean, we have options. I think as a kid, you didn't have options. Like, I get a chance to say if I want to do something or not. Whereas before, as a kid, I didn't have a voice. I had to do what you wanted me to do, mama.
Right.
So I love that. Yeah. The cool part of being an adult is we have options, yo.
Say that. Yes. I love this. Okay, y'all, this has been like for real fun for me. Chanel, you're awesome. Okay. Like if you don't hear from anyone, we're awesome. Amazing. I hope everyone got something good out of this today. Please follow her. Invest in her. That's the reason why she's here. It's not just so she can raise her voice and talk all this cool stuff, so that you can invest in her and you can see the magic of yourself through what she provides. So please do that. Follow her on all the channels. Priscilla, is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up the episode today?
Not right here.
I love that. This was so awesome. I think that what you guys are doing is so powerful. It's definitely needed. And just to continue forward and let me know wherever I can help.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so
amazing. Wonderful.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the More Than Graphics podcast. Continue to subscribe and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Send us your feedback on Facebook or Twitter on how our life stories and virtual safe spaces are helping you navigate, empower, or encourage you. And be sure to check out mtgpodcast.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive behind-the-scenes moments like Clubhouse and LinkedIn audio events happening at least once a month at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all. It's been real. Peace out.
Thank you.
And just like that, the episode ends, but the convo has just begun.
Thanks for listening to the MTG podcast.
We want to hear from you. If you enjoyed our podcast, give it a review on your listening app of choice.
Continue to follow us across MTG socials.
And look out for bonus content releases throughout the year. This podcast is produced by Octane Design Studios.
Until next time.